Good morning, Emre.
Good morning.
How's it going?
It's going all right. How are you?
Doing very well. We're hanging out here at Draper Startup House, where we love having fun conversations with the people in our community. And I'm so excited to introduce to you Emre Coach.
I am.
So you're a mentor. You're a guy who knows smart people stuff about code and building the internet.
So I pretend to know.
You pretend. Well, I think you're doing a really good job, fake it till you make it. I think you've been doing that pretty well so far because you've been a software engineer now for like 10 years.
And I think like 14, 15 years going now.
Okay, I underestimated. Right. So how did you get into this? Did you always like love to make things?
Well, making, yes, but I didn't know it was going to be software stuff. I went to university for mechanical engineering. And while I was there, I learned to program.
Right.
And then to make some money on the side, I started doing some online work. And then I got offered a job. And I was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I quit uni and started the job. And I worked at that creative agency for about 10 years. Doing all sorts of programming languages and that. I really liked it. So
Yeah.
I found my calling.
I think timing is like this super interesting thing. There's so many people who I've heard of with similar stories to you, where they started interneting on the side right at that time as people were needing that talent. So you got snapped up and
Yeah,
found a
definitely.
career in it.
I didn't think it was a career until I found people willing to pay me for it. The first client I had that paid me in this way was someone asking me some questions about programming, and then after a few emails back and forth, they asked me like, how much do I owe you?
Yeah.
I thought, what do you mean, how much do I owe you? He's like, well, you did some work, so I want to pay you for this. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know, $30? Sure. And I was like, wow, this is great. I can make money off like this. And so that's how I started the work and dropped the uni pretty quickly and did programming instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's fun? What keeps you engaged in this type of work?
I think it's the problem solving part of it. It's like you present yourself or someone presents you with a problem
Yeah.
and you try to find the most efficient way of solving it. And I think I find it fun to do. Like
Yeah.
the problem solving part for sure is the thing. And being able to create something out of nothing.
Yeah.
So you start out with literally a blank file and you can create whatever you want. And the results are, to me, amazing.
Yeah. Something that we've had lots of conversations about, the problems that you insist on solving are things that are often repeated, right? Like,
Yeah.
let's automate everything.
I used to say, like, if you have to do something more than 3 times, make a tool for it. So you don't have to do it a fourth.
Yeah.
Often what happens is that the thing that you have to repeat is like a 5-minute job, and then I spend 15 hours trying to solve it and automate it. But if you build these tools and you're using them over years, it definitely
Right.
pays off. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can use the tools that you've built for one project. You can use them in other projects.
So you're the man who creates these kind of things. How often have you stepped into the role of being the person who takes that to the customer?
So you mean as in like we sometimes at the agency would look at websites of clients. If, for example, they ask, can we change something here or add something there? And then we look at the whole picture and go like, well, actually, you might be better off changing either the whole thing or upgrading to this. Or so we try to help them with whatever they have. And recently, a few clients or a client of mine came up with a few of their clients that had problems with their website because
Yeah.
there was an update. And I was looking at the things that they needed updating, and I was like, well, some of these will probably need updating every month for the rest of their existence. So
Yeah.
you might be better off just refreshing the whole thing. So then we solve a problem of theirs, but
Yeah.
in a more
No, keep it open. I'm just gonna go ahead. We'll cut this part out. So yeah, I used to work in product management. So I was the one who was talking to the customer and then translating it into geek speak for the developer teams, right? And that's always such a challenging task because with technology, you have amazing ways to solve things. You have so many different tools you can choose. There are so many different paths to get to the end. And it's kind of just like figuring out which one is the best way or which way you should do it, right?
Yeah, which one fits the client's needs. And also they often present the problem and they give like a semi-solution, what they think is going to be best, because they don't always know what's possible. So I think it's our job to also tell them like your idea will or will not work, or there's a better solution. Often if it's cheaper or better to do, or cheaper in the long run, we're obligated to tell them that, for sure.
So, a couple months ago at the developer meetup that you ran with your colleague Ben, right? I remember one of the things he brought up was that like it's your job as experts to guide the customer, because you're the one who knows the tool set, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes a customer may have all these things that they think that they need, but in the end, actually, God forbid, sometimes what they need is just like is to hack an Excel spreadsheet.
Because they don't know what they need often. I think we should always go for the best solution. Like, what is the best solution for every case specifically, individually? Like, what is your best solution? And sometimes just using the simplest tool will do the trick. It's not always going for, well, I like to build super complex custom stuff because that's what I like to do, but it's not always in best interest of the client. So sometimes when we say, maybe just put it in an Excel into a Google Sheet and that solves the problem. It costs nothing.
Right. It's like, what's the job to be done, right?
Exactly. For example, I'm not really a big fan of WordPress, but if I have people come up to me and go like, I need a website really quickly. WordPress is easy. You can just find themes. Hosting services usually provide an easy installation. You don't need to know much about it to just have it up and running. So that sometimes is the best way to go, even though I'm not a big fan of it.
But you are a big fan of getting super fiddly, and you really love to do data visualization, right?
Oh, I love it.
You have, you've shown me before this like completely custom built dashboard that you use just for yourself.
This was how it began. Was years ago. I wanted to automate my income and outcome streams, just to know when I need to pay what fixed expense. So I can just keep track of things. That's how it started. And when I started doing some more freelance work, I added projects in there and clients in there so I could keep track of what's going to come in as an income. And now it has grown to this massive projects, clients, invoices, my balance calculation. It hooks up to like different services and systems to gather all information that I need for my life, and will display projections of how many months of buffer I have, or how many hours I need to work to fill my buffer to a certain level. From graphs of how many hours I've worked, for how many clients I've worked, how much money I've made per day. All this information is just wonderful to build. So I built that for myself. But it's very, very custom, so unfortunately I can't really.
But it's fun. Well, so something that I've heard from people who come and chat with you when you do your mentor office hours here, right? Because ostensibly you're our guy when it comes to software development, websites, and things. But I think a lot of times people who talk to you, they get a little bit more than mentoring in just that area. I think a lot of people report back to me that like they had these awesome conversations with you about like planning their lives and budgeting and doing all these other things as well.
Yeah, I think this, programming is a tool that you can use for anything, and most people use that to sell a product. But I think if you can use a bit of this programming or a bit of these tools to improve your life, like what I like to do is eliminate choices that I have to make. If you don't have to make as many choices on a daily basis, things get easier. You don't have to think about those little things.
Decision fatigue.
Exactly. So if, for example, my finances are all automated, I never have to think of that or worry about it. I have recently updated my admin panel. And I've added a calculator that shows me how much money I still have left to spend on each day. So I can see if I'm within budget or over budget. For example, if I want to buy something really nice and expensive, then I can check my app and like, I can buy this now, or I have to wait a few days, and then I can buy it, or next month, or whatever. Yeah,
and you've definitely taken a page out of the Steve Jobs book to just like wear a uniform.
Yes.
So, but I believe, recently you branched out and I saw you wearing like Navy blue?
Yeah, red and blue is what I bought, but gray is doable, but black is still my go-to color for sure.
Yeah, make it easy to get dressed.
I think I've dressed like this for 10, 20 years probably. I just feel comfortable in it, but also now it's more like it's just easy because if I have to get dressed, it's literally just getting a black shirt and my jeans out, and that's it.
Yeah, for sure. So switching gears a little bit, some people who are watching this video may assume that you are American, but your background is a little bit more, multifaceted than that, right?
I am from the Netherlands, but I am Turkish. I have an American accent because of TV, I guess, and video games. And I've been dating Becky, a British girl, for a year now, so I'm slightly going towards British accents too, apparently. But for me, the American accent just is my natural English, I guess.
Yeah. Something we would talk about before was that, like, amongst your friends in the Netherlands, like, you were really interested in learning to speak English, and that was not something that was universal, even though you all had access to the same education.
Yeah, I think back then my friends would constantly say, like, "Why are you speaking English? We're in the Netherlands." And from a young age, I always had trouble expressing myself in both Turkish and Dutch. It was very difficult, and having an extra language to express myself made things easier, especially because I got a lot of phrases from television. I would use those phrases that we say, catchphrases, for example, or things from advertising or whatever, to use that to express myself more easily. And I think that grew into this big, I don't know, this is just how I grew up, I guess. And they didn't really like it that much because they thought we're just going to stay in the Netherlands anyway, so why would I learn English?
Right. But you didn't stay in the Netherlands.
I did not stay in the Netherlands.
You got the travel bug, you moved around. So, I mean, professionally, I guess English has served you in the workplace?
Definitely. Yeah, speaking with remote clients is definitely, you need English for that. So when I moved here in 2018, everyone was speaking English. I don't think I've met a Dutch person at my work here. So English is the go-to language. Also because programming is in English. Almost everything is in English. Because just in case there is someone that joins the team who is not Dutch, we need to have proper English skills.
Yeah.
Because at the agency I worked at, we had a lot of interns or juniors coming from neighboring countries. They don't speak Dutch, so you need to be able to speak English. So a long time ago, we decided, let's just do everything in English, all the commenting, all the issues, just everything in English, because everyone understands English anyway. It will be easier for anyone joining the team. And from there on, I got used to doing everything in English when it comes to work, at least. So it helped here as well, for sure.
How's your Thai coming along?
Everyone says the same, Nit Noi. That's like, that's it.
Yeah.
I've had class for a year and a half, but it's just so difficult.
Yeah.
It's so difficult.
Before you moved here, were you nervous that, like, oh my God, how am I going to speak the local language?
Yeah. I thought it was going to be okay. I thought if I have class, it will be fine. And then I started class and it was really fun.
Yeah.
And then we started reading and writing, and then I thought, yeah, no. So I dropped class a few weeks ago because it was just too much for me.
Yeah, but I think the reality is it is so easy to get by with English in Chiang Mai that you're so spoiled by that.
Yeah, everyone speaks English. Even like the Thai people, you just speak English to them. And with a little bit of Thai that we learn here, it's already it's doable. You don't have the necessity of learning Thai. But it was fun. It's like learning how the languages work is fun. It's like I can program in several programming languages, so I thought learning a language should be easy, right? I speak 3 languages.
It's just rules.
Thai should be easy. No, it wasn't. It wasn't at all.
Yeah, different things going on there. Well, so what would your advice be for someone who wanted to sort of follow your path, to be able to get a job working in technology and to be able to take that remotely so that they can make travel part of their lifestyle?
Right. So I train a lot of juniors or aspiring juniors into getting their first job or whatsoever. The primary thing is just practice. You gotta code a lot. And I'm a person who codes almost 7 days out of the week because this is a lot of programming. That will get you there quickly. The thing I start off usually with is find a problem that you need to solve. Like for me, it was my admin panel for my life. Figure out something that you could use, some tool that you can make for yourself, because that tool can be your base, where you put all your knowledge into, where you learn new things. It also creates a necessity to find solutions to little problems that you have.
Yeah.
By creating this necessity, you'll get better and better.
The necessity becomes part of the motivation to actually finish the task.
And then when you start looking for clients are going to ask you, like, what have you built before?
Right.
So you can show them, I've built all these little tools and little things. This is my portfolio. The more you have, the better it is. So practice, practice, practice.
Yeah.
And other than that, study English if your English isn't that good, because clients definitely need you to speak proper English, especially if you have to work with like a large team.
International teams.
Yeah, exactly. And other than that, non-work related stuff. Don't try to force things or have too high expectations. Just come here and see what life is about, and just learn by being. That's definitely what I learned. Like I just didn't plan much, and that really helps.
Yeah.
The more expectations you have, the more difficult it gets.
But I think somebody like you is able to be a bit more relaxed about that. Like you don't have to plan everything because you've done so much preparation to build yourself up and give yourself tools, and you're a very self-aware person.
Yes, that's something that you have to develop over the years before you take steps like this. Or for some people, it will help to come to a place like this and help them develop themselves. It's a slow process. It takes a long time. I'm nowhere near the end.
Not a done human yet.
Nah, I think the older you get and the more you realize about yourself, the more you realize that there is no end.
Progress.
This is just
still faking it till you make it.
Less faking it, more making it, but still learning.
Something that again was thrown out at the developer meetup that you ran that I thought was really interesting. So Neil, who co-works here sometimes, right? He's like an older gentleman. He seems very professional, seems like an adult, and I've known him to be someone who does lots of like coding and programming for years, and I was so surprised that he asked you like, well, I want to become a real developer. How do I do that? And it was just so funny to hear that sense of imposter syndrome from like someone I know who's like a respectable adult.
I think we all have that though.
Yeah. But I loved the answer that came out is that like you're a real developer from the point where like you manage to like blag your way into a job, and if you can like teach yourself, if you can Google, if you can like find new tools and learn fast enough to keep that job, then
that's what being a developer is.
You're a real developer.
It is, exactly. And it's not about being a real developer or not real developer. It's about like how skilled you are at developing. That's basically it. And I too sometimes, if I'm working on a project and I go like, what am I doing? I have no idea. And then the imposter syndrome just strikes and goes like, you're just a fraud. It's like, all right, just keep going. And the next day you go like, I'm fucking amazing. I'm a god at this. I'm so good. Like I should be making $10,000 a month. And no, it just goes back and forth. That's absolutely. But I think his attitude towards this was nice, as in like he wants to improve. He wants to learn more. I think that's my attitude too. Like I don't know everything. Absolutely not. Here, people sometimes come up here and have a question that I don't know the answer to. We'll try to figure it out together. Like,
awesome.
I've been doing this for 15 years, but it doesn't mean that I know everything there is to know. Like, absolutely not. Especially like in this business, things change every week. So there's no way you can know everything. But as long as you know how to find things, how to solve problems, or how to find someone that knows how to solve the problem. Stack Overflow really helps in that case.
And so if you're in Chiang Mai and you have some coding, technical, web-related problem, this guy can help you solve it. Yeah. So what are your office hours? You usually
every Wednesday between 2 and 6.
All right. It was great talking to you, Emre.
Nice.